What up, YouTube? It's Mike from the Hardcover comic here. Today we're going to talk about an indie hidden gem that I don't think a lot of people have seen, and that is Five Ghosts: The Haunting of Fabian Gray. It's by Frank J. Barberie with artwork by Chris Mooneyham. This was one of the first Image Deluxes that I ever got, and I gotta say, man, I was so pleasantly surprised with this series. It's a lot of fun. It's got a pulp noir kind of feel to it. As you guys will see, Mooneyham's artwork, it sort of reminds me of Howard Chaykin mixed with a little Frank Miller, maybe a little John Romita in there as well. But it's really cool. It really matches the style of the book. And in terms of the story, Fabian Gray is a thief. He's a well-renowned thief in the world. His sister Sylvia, something has happened to her, and he's basically trying to fix the errors that he made that resulted in her being, pretty much a vegetable at this point. And it's a really good story. There's a lot of action. And, when they talk about the five ghosts of Fabian Gray, he's basically got these five, literature story characters that he can call upon to utilize their powers. One of them's a samurai, another one's a Sherlock Holmes type character. Another one of them is a Robin Hood type character. There's a wizard, sort of like a Merlin. And then, of course, there's a vampire type character like Dracula. And, they each grant him a different power set, and he uses all of those to be a thief. You find out a lot about his past relationship with his sister, what happened between them, what led to the situation that they're in currently. You get to see him hang out with his pretty much his brother-in-law, who's also trying to help him out and resolve the mystery. But we find out where these characters come from that are in him, where these spirits come from. It turns out they come from a place called the Dreaming, and he's basically got these dreamstone shards within him. We start to find out all this stuff about his past as the present catches up to him, and he's got to face off against, a ton of enemies, a lot of them supernatural, crazy creatures. In the second story arc, we see them look for the Island of Dreams, and the trials and tribulations that go along with that. The artwork's incredible. We'll get into way more detail when we actually open up the book and start looking at the pages. But this collected the first 12 issues. The series ran in total for, I believe, 17 issues, and they had a special as well. And unfortunately, this is all we got. This is all that came of Five Ghosts: The Haunting of Fabian Gray. I do enjoy this volume as it is. It tells a really cool story, and the way the story arcs are done, Barberie and Mooneyham could have pretty much ended the series whenever they wanted to. So it's cool that it got to live as long as it did, but unfortunately it was short-lived. Still a great book. I'm not sure if you can find it easily online. You probably could, but it's a really good time. It's part of my rereads for the year. I really, really enjoyed this as much as I did the first time. It's such a fantastic book, a truly hidden gem in the Image Comics, set of series. So let's take a closer look inside the book. All right, so now, while I enjoyed the content of this book very, very much, I must say the design itself left me wanting more. It's real simple. There's nothing fancy or fun going on. You get a great cover, granted. The front is great. You can see sort of all those characters I mentioned, Sherlock Holmes, sort of the Merlin character, Dracula, Robin Hood, and the samurai type of character. And you get, of course, Fabian Gray. So this was Deluxe Edition Volume 1, which, leads someone to believe there may be another one, but we're not going to talk about that now. There's just the one volume, and that's all we're going to get. Spine is super simple, nothing crazy. And then on the back, you've really just got a brief description of the book, and then some quotes praising it. So it's kind of lacking. While the front is very nice, it seems like on the back they just sort of gave up. But we'll start flipping through this thing. I'm really glad that I have this book because it's really fun to reread over and over and over again. Of course, you get some dedications at the front here. Yeah, Chris Mooneyham's art it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's sort of a great mix of classic with classic style with modern um, sort of capabilities and modern, panel layouts and stuff like that. Uh, and like I said, it's one of those. The series itself, while short-lived, I feel like it could have kept going for a very, very long time, mostly because the world, while it does get explored a little bit, there's a lot of mystery surrounding it. We do find out about these dream stones and how they work, but in terms of even the first two arcs, you get to see Fabian Gray travel to multiple places in the world. Of course, you start seeing some history background, starting from when he was a little sperm, floating around, and you get to see different parts of the world, what's happening in it. You get to see all these really cool supernatural creatures. It just felt like there was a lot that could have been explored throughout the series if it had kept going further, which makes it all the more unfortunate, to when it doesn't, right? And even again, I haven't read issues 13 through 17, so maybe all of this does come to a conclusion, but the first two story arcs end with cliffhangers revealing some Nazi folks involved, and just in general more enemies involved in the situations that Fabian Gray is dealing with. So here you get to see him go through these sort of trials as he's approached by every single one of these spirits within him, these characters within him, and they sort of put him through trials and tribulations that he needs to pass. So Robin Hood obviously gives some skills like archery, and that's pretty much it, right? Sherlock Holmes makes him pretty good at detection, of course. The Merlin character lets him cast actual magic. The samurai lets him wield a sword and be proficient in sword fighting. And the really cool thing about Chris Mooneyham's style is he's able to change it if he's doing like a flashback or something. And Lauren Affe's colors really help that too, right? Because she'll do a different kind of style for present time as opposed to a flashback. And it looks great. While the artwork and the colors don't necessarily pop off the page, they don't need to, because the style of the book doesn't call for that. And overall, I liked it. It's again a pulp noir kind of feeling, which you get obviously a little bit with guys like Ed Brubaker, a little bit with Greg Rucka, but to get it in this weird in a fantasy supernatural action book it's different. It's different for sure. And again, I loved it so much. You do get a little there's a one shot in here in between the two story arcs where Fabian Gray sort of goes to Japan, I believe, and he just has to deal with the situation there. It was cool. You get to see sort of the history of the Masamune, which is Masa and Mune were both two swordsmiths, and they basically were forced to create this blade Masamune that was their life work, and their souls got captured within the blade. It's cool. You get introduced to a new character who also has a part in Fabian Gray's past. It's weird. You've got like high-tech security buildings like this, for example, but then you've also got like straight up pirates and pirate ships saying like ahoy matey and all that stuff. It's a different kind of world, and I wanted to see more of it, which is my biggest bummer about this ending so prematurely. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have you guys read Five Ghosts? Have you picked up this hardcover by chance? Is this something you're interested in now that I've mentioned it? We've got 17 issues to check out, 18 including the special that came out. So there's quite a bit of material for this, but I really, really wish it had kept going. I really, really enjoyed this series. Another time, maybe someday. Alright, so one thing I wanted to do real quick was just take a look at the binding. It is glued, so it doesn't stay open on its own. The actual front cover will, but the pages will not. You're going to have to hold them down, or just hold the book in your hand. It's pretty light, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's take a quick look here. You can see there's no real eye hole. It's just glued to the back there, but it stays open for the most part. And like I said, it's super light, so you can easily just pick it up and hold it, read it open with your hand. Thank you all very much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed already, please be sure to do so. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It really, really helps. And until next time, as always, you stay classy, Internet.